Very good. Right. So I think we'll just go straight to the sloka or the class. Hare Krishna, you survived the Chapan Bhog yesterday. Quite a lot, eh? Quite a lot of prasad. Jagannath must be very, very happy. So we're asked to speak on chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the chapter where it talks about knowledge of the absolute. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Itiramine Prabhupada Sahityam Yapakasha Bhitirya Cha Pracharankita Manshadu Bhagavat Pati Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Asmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha vipasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to read here from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. Mm-mm. We're asked to begin from the first sloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Shri Bhagavanu Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Yogang Yunjang Mad Ashraya.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamsayang Samangramam.
Samsayam Samagramam.
Yata Gyachnya Sitashrinu.
Yadhyasasitashvinu.
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Yogang Yungjang Mad Ashraya.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamsayang Samangramam.
Samsayam Samagramam.
Yata Jasya Sitashrinu.
Yadhyasasitashvinu.
Somebody else.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Maya Shakta Manah Partha
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamshayam Samagram Mama
Asamsayam Samagramam.
Yatha Gyasya Sisi Tatshanu
Yadhyasasitashvinu.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Maya Shakta Manah Partha
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamshayam Samagram
Asamsayam Samagramam.
Yatha Gyasya Tatshanu
Yadhyasasitashvinu.
Mataji's.
Maya Shakta Manaparta.
Yunjam Madashraya
Yogam Yunjan Madashraya.
Asamsayam Samagramam
Asamsayam Samagramam. Yata Gyasya Sitashrinu. Word for word meaning. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
The Supreme Lord said,
The Supreme Lord said,
Mayi,
Mai
to me,
to me,
Ashakta Mana,
Asaktamana,
mind attached.
mind attached,
Partha,
Artha,
O son of Prita,
Osamrita,
Yogam,
Yoga,
self-realization.
self-realization,
Yunjan,
Yunjan,
practicing.
practicing,
Mad Ashraya,
Ashraya,
in consciousness of me.
in consciousness of me,
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness,
Asamsayam,
Samshayam,
without doubt.
without doubt,
Samagram,
Samagram,
completely.
completely,
Mam,
Mam,
me. So me, sorry, me. Yata,
Yatha,
how?
how,
Yasyasi,
Yasyasi,
you can know.
you can know,
That,
that,
that. Shrinu,
Shinu,
try to hear.
try to hear.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now hear, O son of Prita, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport. Oh, everybody please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
Now hear,
Now hear,
O son of Prita,
O son of Pita,
how by practicing yoga
how by practicing yoga
in full consciousness of me,
in full consciousness of me,
with me, with mind attached to me,
with mind attached to me,
you can know me in full,
you can know me in full,
free from doubt.
free from doubt.
Purport. In this seventh chapter, the Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, four kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and four kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self realization by different types of yogis or yogas. At the end of the sixth chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti, or localized Paramatma realization, is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yogas are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practicing by practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as described in the last verse of the sixth chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, touch Shinu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. Therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the second chapter of the first canto as follows. Shinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Sabana Kirtana Hidanti Stoi Abhadrani Vidnoti Surit Satam Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityang Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistuki Tadarajastama Bhava Kama Lobhadayaschaye Cheta Etai Anividham Stitang Sattve Prasidati Ibang Pasana Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Grantis Chidyanti Sarva Samsaya Shiyanti Chasya Karmani Drista Evatmanispari. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And from one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When the impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severes the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsayam samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. From the Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, texts 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Shakta Manaparta Yogam Yungjang Medashraya Asangsayang Samangramang Yata Yakshya Sitashvinu. So here, the importance of hearing is very clearly emphasized. Hearing from the right source, our ultimate source of knowledge is from Krishna himself. Knowledge can be divided into two: material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge is always changing, it is temporary, and it's not going to help us become relieved from the cycle of repeated birth and death. There are different books, unlimited practically, books about the material world or material existence. There's also unlimited, practically again, books of spiritual knowledge. Prabhupada gave an example. It's like, let's say, in the city of San Francisco, there's so many newspapers. Every day you'll find different editions of newspapers. They will say news. News means new, but it's really not new. It's old. It's yesterday's. And the same subject matter: politics, someone died, someone took birth, social life, and all these things. What do you call it? It's not going to solve our problems of birth, death, old age, and disease. To end the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, and to enter into the spiritual world, we need knowledge that's coming from the Supreme Lord himself. And no one can enunciate, or no one can make it up. What's that verse? Dharma tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Or dharma, or religion, which can show us the best way how to develop love for Krishna, or ultimately can be the source coming from the Supreme Lord himself or his pure devotees. So from what we've read here, let me see the notes I have. There is a connection between chapter 6 and 7, where a yogi who's always thinks of Krishna. What's that verse? Yoginam mat gati nantaratmana shatabang bhajate yomang same yogatamo mata. So again, the connection here is that how think of Krishna all the time, how we can completely concentrate our mind to think of Krishna. And Prabhupada in the purport also there is the process given by Srila Rupa Goswami also, and Prahlad Maharaj, specifically from the seventh canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, that 9 processes of bhakti, which starts from Shravanam, hearing. It's very essential. It's like we learn from hearing. We can learn also through our experience. But which is better? If we hear from the right source, then we don't have to experiment. We learn from hearing from the right source, and therefore we just have to follow. If we learn through our experience, which is third class way of getting knowledge, we learn. There's a saying: we learn from our mistakes, right? So how many times we have to make mistakes again and again, and still we're not learning. It's like Prabhupada would give an example. It's like there's a cat going to the kitchen to get some food. You have cats? You know cats? Yeah? So you will somehow, if the owner of the cat is very annoyed, you'll beat the cat or the dog not to climb onto the table where the food is. Then it'll come out again. Was it after some time, the cat will come back again. And then he'll get beating again. So how many times is going to happen? As long as the food is available in the kitchen, the cat will keep coming and he'll get beaten, 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 beaten. So knowledge can be obtained in that way, hearing from the right source or through the experience. And we're still not learning. Without knowledge, says here, one may doubt Krishna's position. Yeah. Doubt is always there. We're always doubtful. We're thinking whether this is true or not. So knowledge first come from faith. We have to have some faith from the process. Faith comes from knowledge. Yeah, of course, we have to have some faith to attain knowledge. And then from cultivation of knowledge, faith increases. This is the first initial stage of how we can attain love of God. Is that ado sada tatu sadhu sangha. So where do we get the faith from? From the devotees. When we see that they are doing well, that they're happy, and they are actually an exemplary of how a person can live in such a way that no anxiety. Do we have anxieties? Yeah. Mother Yasoda is also an anxiety, but Mother Yasoda's anxiety is not the same as the materialistic anxiety. He says that the materialistic people, they cannot sleep. They're having this insomnia. They sleep less. They work so hard every day, but at the same time, I know one devotee when he first came to America. He was an IT. He would work for 16 hours. The first job he got, 16 hours. He told me, Maharaj, I'm not able to eat because I have to work. And my wife, she had to feed me while working in the computer. The employer took advantage of him. He's doing the job of like five. So four of his colleagues were kicked out, or they were fired. So he was doing 16 hours. What about others? This is the story of the whole world. They work so hard to establish, as Prabhupada says in the one of the purports, 104-story buildings. So you go to New York, 104, 110-story buildings. It's what you call Ugra Karma. They will work so hard, and when they come home, they will just enjoy with some food and association with their partners. And to sleep, they will drink wine, alcohol. This every day is like that. The routine is the same again and again. And they cannot sleep. They're because whatever one thinks during the whole day, this has been carried out during the sleep. They are in trouble the whole day, and then when they sleep, they cannot sleep properly. So, is this proper way how to live? A person who is very intelligent, he will find ways how to mitigate or how to stop this cycle. So we need to cultivate knowledge about the absolute truth. Ah, so that our doubts, our ignorance especially, will be uprooted. So here, uh, it says here from chapters 7 to 12, Krishna presents the knowledge of himself as a supreme personality of Godhead to inspire and strengthen bhakti. So from text 1 to 3, just here, knowing Krishna by hearing about him is very greatly emphasized. Let's see now what this first verse says. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna and not impersonal Brahman or Paramatma. So Lord Krishna has three aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Not that one can fully realize Krishna through Brahman realization or Paramatma. The full realization of Lord Krishna is by understanding his personal feature, the Bhagavan feature. Bhagavan means he's full in six opulences. Children, do you know six opulences of Lord Krishna? Wealth, beauty, knowledge, fame, renunciation, and strength. He is the most beautiful. It's like sometimes when people see the first time Lord Krishna's face, they will say he looks like a woman. Yeah, because of his feature. He is the strongest. He can lift the Govardhan Hill at the age of 7 with his pinky. Pinky. He is the most renounced. He had 16,108 queens, wives, and he's not attached to them. He is the wealthiest. Hmm. The wealth of Krishna in Vrindavan is not because of money. The wealth is the simple living, grains and cows. Nowadays, oh, we saw a lot of cows also on the way yesterday. But not all of them are giving milk because if you have grains and milk products, then you can live. Prabhupada says you cannot live with bolts, nuts and bolts. Again, human society is the most famous. No one is more famous than Lord Krishna. Everyone knows him in all the three worlds. So, name, fame, uh, strength, knowledge. He's the most knowledgeable. He's the source of the Vedas. Vedanta Krit Vedavit Eva Chaham. He's the compiler of the Vedas. No one. So, six opulences. He is Bhagavan in full. So, without a doubt, means we should not have any doubt about Lord Krishna being the ultimate, is the supreme absolute truth. This is what you call ultimate knowledge and realization. So we should increase every day our faith in spite of so many material desires we may have. But the more we increase our faith towards Lord Krishna, then material desires also decreases. The attachment towards the enjoying propensity with the sense objects with our senses. So Krishna consciousness process reveals full knowledge. How? Because mind should be fully attached to Krishna. So we should concentrate our mind. The process to concentrate the mind is how? By these ninefold processes of bhakti. And the first and foremost is the shavanam, hearing. It's like what we're doing right now. We're hearing Bhagavad Gita. Knowledge about Krishna, two forms. Words spoken by Krishna himself, like the Bhagavad Gita, and the activities with his devotees, Lord Krishna, and along with his devotees. We can learn, we can increase our knowledge, we can increase our faith. That means two types of harikatha, or knowledge about the absolute truth. One spoken by Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, and about Krishna and his devotees, like Srimad Bhagavatam. Touch Shrinu. Touch Shrinu means try to hear. Unfortunately, nowadays, in India, not everyone who are wearing saffron, because usually in India, when you're wearing lal kapra, they'll say Pandit Ji. Yeah, Pandit Ji. Oh, Pandit Ji means he's a learned person. That's not true. No, we have many grihastas in our movement who are also very learned in the Shastra. And they practice what they teach. Now, some of these unscrupulous reciters of the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita, they're very expert in memorizing the scriptures, but they don't practice what they speak upon. The best way how we can understand if a person is a real learned person is that he practiced what he learned, what he heard. It's like Balimardhan Prabhu. He asked me to speak for a few seconds or minutes to his students in Bhakti Vaibhav classes. So I told him that it's good that you're learning, but his best way is that if you really learned what you're studying, is that you apply it. The application is better. That is real knowledge. Real knowledge is not theoretical knowledge. Real knowledge means practical application. As Prabhupada would say, some professors they know Bhagavad Gita inside out. You ask them, and they will even recite to you the Bhagavad Gita. But what is their activities in their private life? Maybe in school, in university, they will teach. But then, what about their private life? What do they do? Yeah, Prabhupada is like an open book. He doesn't have a private life. Our Guru Maharaj is like that also. He doesn't have a private life. Open book. No secret. No. Whatever you see him, that's the way he is. Day by day by day. Every day. No change. The schedule remains the same. Doing his sadhana, chanting Hare Krishna, everything, reading Prabhupada's books, meeting the devotees, solving problems of the movement is still the same. No change. But other unscrupulous. So we must be careful also. As Prabhupada says, don't hear even to my God brothers, from my God brothers. Because if you hear something different than from what I said, or what I say, I will say, then you may be confused. So it's a warning. Prabhupada says also that you don't have to go outside of the four walls of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. Everything is there. Krishna is there, Radharani is there, Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram. It's like when I'm in Vrindavan, I don't even go to Loi Bazaar. It's like some devotees, as soon as they reach Vrindavan, immediately they'll go to Loi Bazaar. One devotee told me, if you want to forget Krishna, go to Loi Bazaar. Because once you're there, oh, nice sari, oh, nice dhoti, like, fully absorbed. It's good. If you're shopping for your deities, yeah, that's a good meditation, right? What will be the next outfit or nice silver paraphernalia for the deities? It's like it's a transcendental bazaar. Loy Bazaar. I call it Louis Bazaar, not Loy. Louis, modernized. So, in a sense, there's a store there also. There's a bookstore. Is it Rasa Bihari Lal? Yeah. You go there, it's like, wow, so many books, informations. Many of these books, they're just translation of a scholar. And then if you read, fine, what is the authority of this person who translated Sanskrit into English? And then at the same time, because there is no purport, more likely you will speculate what was written there. Unlike Srila Prabhupada's books, clearly explained how from the previous acharyas also, their realization, and he will put his own realization in such a way that it'll be easier for us to understand. So whom to hear from? Yes. Only Krishna or pure devotee, not non-devotee scholar. Not probably not non-devotee scholar. We have many scholars also in our movement, like Mukunda Datta Prabhu, yeah, or Gopi Paranadam Prabhu who passed away. Very simple devotees, very learned. See, the more we become mature in bhakti, the more we become simple. Like our Guru Maharaj, it's so simple. He eats simple, no pizza, no lasagna, no spaghetti, nothing like this. And he will taste sweets very little. He would eat sweets, but very little. Not like I've never seen him eating gulab jamun like that. But it's very simple. He will there are so many preparations all the time. And he would say, why do you have to prepare so much? I just want two sabjis, rice, dal, chapati. Yeah. And sometimes I'll be also offered so many things. See, when you've been offered so many things, you lose appetite. But he will taste every preparations, little by little by little. So hear from the right source. The process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is by hearing. So there was a quotation here from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text 17 to 21. It says here, steps for advancement are as follows. Hear about Krishna from him or from his devotees. By such hearing, Krishna in the heart acts as a best wishing friend. So Krishna cleanses our heart. The more we hear about Krishna, he is the purifying. He purifies our heart. Hearing subject matter about Krishna purifies our heart from what? Purifies our heart from our sinful reactions and also unwanted desires and completely uproots. So in the Bhagavad Gita says, armed with the sword of knowledge, cut your attachment to this material world. He's our best wishing friend, our well wisher, best well wisher. It's like Prabhupada would sign, your ever well wisher. And we mentioned that already also, that Krishna is like that. And the same with our spiritual master. He's our ever well wisher. And a friend, he always look for the other friend's welfare. Our spiritual master is our father, but he's also our friend because he's always looking after our welfare. He cares. It's like a friend. Father wants to protect the children and also want to be sure that the children are well taken care of. Spiritual master is like that. Same with Supreme Personality of Godhead. Natural development of dormant transcendental knowledge. So whenever we hear freedom from the modes of passion and ignorance, so automatically when we read the scriptures, this is the symptom of the mode of goodness. And then again, when we apply the knowledge and ultimately becomes self-realized, then we will be in the mode of pure goodness. Prabhupada says, at least come to the mode of goodness. Don't remain in the mode of passion and ignorance. What are the modes of passion and ignorance? Sleep too much, eating too much, working too much. That's a mode of passion. Driving so every day just to look for ways how one can fulfill one's material desires. We're just wondering. There are thousands of cars going back and forth on the highway. Where are they going? Prabhupada asked that. Prabhupada asked, we know where we're going, right? We're going to a program, or we're going to the temple, or we're going to see a devotee. But along the highway, there are thousands of cars going back and forth. Sometimes they're going so fast because, they cannot wait. There's no time. You're just wondering, what are they doing? They're wasting their time, isn't it? But devotees, we know where we're going. Or devotees, they were criticized in the beginning. We are all crazy. The Prabhupada says, who is crazy? We tell that we understand that they are crazy. So there was an article written by Srila Prabhupada in the early days. Was that who is crazy?
Yeah.
Something like that. They are crazy. They're fools. But what to do? That's why they learned the hard way. And their only rescue is by meeting a devotee, or hearing the holy name, or having prasadam. I remember when we traveled, Guru Maharaj, uh, we will always have so much prasad to take with us. So when he meets a nice person, he says, this is organic. This is for you. And, because Guru Maharaj is saintly, they can tell, or they can feel the simplicity and the vibration, the spiritual vibrations, and they will take, okay, because nowadays organic. So this is how Guru Maharaj will engage others even in giving prasad. They don't have any other hope. It's like we walked this morning, uh, Brajaras Prabhu and we went to Sycamore Park. Is it they call it park? So we met many people who's walking with their dogs, and there was a black bird, very big. So we tell them good morning, and then we'll say to the dog, "Go Ranga." So that's probably the only time in the life's dog to hear the holy name. So whenever you see a dog in the street, say "Go Ranga" to them. Yeah, that's giving the holy name. They may not understand, and the people they were jolly. They will not. We will say Hare Krishna also because they know the Hare Krishnas in California. So there is nothing wrong with that, isn't it? When you meet a person, a very favorable person, you greet each other. In America, this is the only thing in America they say good morning. In India, they don't say good morning. They don't even, well, sometimes they will say Hare Krishna. In Russia, they will never even smile. I've, I, I've been to, morning walks there with Guru Maharaj. They will not smile because of the atmosphere, very suppressed. So try to take advantage as much as possible to give Krishna to others. The more we hear, the one becomes more fixed in devotional service. The more we hear, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur says, you can tell how a devotee is making advancement by his eagerness to hear about Lord Krishna, about chanting Hare Krishna, how one would like to serve. But number one, if one will always want to hear. I know two boys They're university students now in Canada. They live in Abu Dhabi. And the parents told me they always read Prabhupada's books all the time, all the time. Not so easy, but once you get the taste from reading, because reading is also hearing. Hmm? When you read, you hear. This is the conversation between Arjuna and Lord Krishna, or the devotees and Lord Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. So, reading means hearing. The more one is eager to hear, the more he'll make advancement. Hmm. Material lust and avarice are diminished. One becomes steady in pure goodness. Hmm. The more we understand about Lord Krishna, the more we are coming to the platform of Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. One becomes enlivened by devotional service and understands the science of God perfectly. Now, the hard knot of material affection is severed. What does that mean? There's a hard knot. It's like sometimes, we sleep in the wrong way. Then we'll have something at the back. It's like I had it. It's like a big ball. You have to push. You have to push, and it's so painful. Yeah, I had this massage in one devotee from New York. He told me, yeah, Maharaj, it's like a ball before. Now it's like small marble. And I can feel the difference. So similarly, the more we uh, read, the more we hear, the more we chant, the more we associate with devotees, then the hard knot of this, especially family attachment. Hare Krishna, Mataji. The attachment, which is the most binding in this world, material attachment, which culminates with the family. That is the most difficult to give up. Family attachment. There's nothing wrong with the family, but what is wrong is that to have that relationship not having Krishna as a center. I know many devotees in the beginning, they really wanted their children to grow up to be Krishna conscious. But there is a certain age where the children started to think independently and they don't want to follow the parents. It's very painful for the parents. But what to do? The materialist, oh boy, it's more difficult. More difficult. They're rebellious. I've heard in America, you can call the police. Even a child can call the police if they're being, let's say, not treated properly. Is that correct? Confirm. Bless you. Bless you. Is that correct? Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so true. It's happened to me.
Oh yeah. The story of the whole world is the same. It's the same. So, but because if we are not Krishna conscious, and we're trying to be Krishna conscious, it'll be more painful. But what to do? So this hard knot of the attachment. When you hear more, then you realize the knowledge, and then you'll be able to understand. Will be affected, but not as much. like the materialists. This is the difference between the materialists and the devotees. We also get affected. Let's say if our parents died, we get affected also. Yeah, but because we know the science of the soul, the knowledge about the soul. So this hard nut, very difficult to give up. This hard nut of material affection is severed. Hmm. And then one comes to the stage of samsayam samagram, complete understanding of the supreme absolute truth. So, in conclusion, by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees, this is the only way to understand the science of Krishna. We cannot understand this from somebody else. It'll be a bluff. No, there's so many of them. Even there's a purport. Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages, they concoct their own doctrines. And you'll find this in anywhere, but especially in India. Sages means sadhu. They can be renounced, but not all the sadhus are devotees. Some of them are, not some, but many are Mayavadis, impersonalists. Bhagavan that, Bhagavan this. There's so many so-called sadhus in India, and they have their own concocted doctrines. Some of them are disguised, and unfortunately, our devotees started to go and see this kind of personalities, especially in Vrindavan. This is not by popularity that one could be considered as genuine. No. Unfortunately, even some of our sannyasi, there's one sannyasi from ours who went to this person. And then eventually he was exposed. I mean, there was a recording whereby this person says, when you become self-realized, Lord Narayan and you becomes one. But you ask him about what is the mood of Brindavan, he will tell you much better, than we do. Well, what is Brindavan like? What should be our mood here? Don't don't listen outside. Guru Maharaj says that also, right? In his last will. Yeah? Uh, uh, Always align ourselves with Prabhupada. Don't align yourself outside of ISKCON. It's one of the last wills. Instruction. So we have to be very careful. In order to understand Lord Krishna, the science of Krishna, we should only hear from Lord Krishna himself and from his devotees. Okay, we stop here. Any points? Balimardan Prabhu? Question?
So before, I think good point you mentioned about,
Bhakta Mike. Is Bhakta Mike.
no, I think about the nice topic of the absolute truth is important.
Yeah, it is.
Um, I like the one you mentioned about how we engage positively in essence
Mm-mm.
to Krishna consciousness, just like you said the Lohi Bajan example.
Mm-mm.
And even though being in Vrindavan or being somewhere else, you still may not be Krishna conscious. But the environment is still there to be Krishna conscious. But here, you are already away from the Lohi Bajan, not now, and we are shopping around. So it's nicer to think that always at least somehow Kalevale Kosale Mana Krishna Nivesita.
Mm.
That is very important.
Mm-mm.
But my question, one thing is related to that. What happens to the persons who is in Vrindavan and not fully Krishna conscious at the time? Means, as you're saying,
Mm-mm.
somebody leave body by buying dhotis, so
Mm-mm.
getting some material activities.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate goal they attain? Because it's Vrindavan.
I think ultimately we have to look in the long term, for the long term. So it's because some devotees they're only there for a short period of time, so they want to be Krishna conscious as much as possible and do things which will help them become Krishna conscious. So when you go to places where um, take advantage more of the place. You can be in Brindavan but not being in Brindavan. That's what I'm trying to say. You can physically one can be in Brindavan, but Maya is there also. Yeah, everything is available in Brindavan. Maya is there. You know the auto rickshaws. They will target you. They will ask you, "Hey, you want to do gambling?"
Huh?
Yes, Mataji. You want ladies? You want intoxication? They eat meat also. Some, some they. It's like in Mathura. There's a law now within near that area. Meat is not allowed. But you think those who are addicted to meat, eating meat, they will stop? No, no. That's why to enter Vrindavan, we need the mercy, the blessings of Guru Maharaj or advanced devotees. One cannot just go in there and thinking that you'll be in Vrindavan by being there. Prabhuji. No. No way. There's so many illicit activities going on in Vrindavan. It's not Vrindavan is bad, it's that your mentality is bad. So one must be very careful. One who goes to Vrindavan, one should not think that, oh, I'm very advanced now. I'm now in Vrindavan. You are not in Vrindavan if your mentality is like that. Now I've reached the place of Krishna and Radharani. Now I should go to Radhakund because that is the topmost place. I've seen devotees going to Radhakund, but they returned. They went back to their place, and I don't know what they're doing now. As I mentioned earlier, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, he felt himself unqualified to be in Radhakund. There is no record where Srila Prabhupada took bath in Radhakund or our Guru Maharaj. He did not take bath there. He just take few drops. Yeah. And during Bahulastami, Bahulastami? Actually, Radhakund's appearance is not on Bahulastami. It's in a different, sometime in April, May. That's the time when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered Radhakund. And, Bahulastami, oh, like swimming pool. Radhakund is none different than Srimati Radharani. So we used to go midnight bathing with Dina Bandhu Prabhu, but now he stopped it because it's too much. So much pushing. We do it the next day. because still TT, still touching, like before noon. And it's so peaceful. So peaceful. So we have to be careful, yeah. Going to the holy dam for a different purpose will not yield the same result from our intention to see Krishna, to attain bhakti. Yeah. Confirm.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Any other points? Yes, sir. At the back, at the back. Okay, oh, in the front first. Yeah, the mic is here. Then you can ask. Hey, well,
Maharaj, I have a question related to Dakshinu. Means hearing
related to
Dakshinu, the
that Shrinu.
hearing from Krishna or Prabhupada or the right authority. You mentioned that in Vrindavan is like there are so many Babaji. Of course, that's a recommendation. We should not go.
Some,
Yeah.
not many, some.
So my question is more related to the earlier topic you had yesterday also, where it's like you mentioned that within ISKCON also telling Mataji as Prabhu.
Yeah.
So that's also like it comes in ISKCON. So how do we protect ourselves that we make sure that we hear Prabhupada and his instructions, not in some kind of concoctions what we see today?
The leader. And the person who's being called, let's say, if you're a Mataji and you're being called Prabhu, then you can correct. You can correct.
But if someone is very senior, it's like it's very.
They're not Prabhu. They're still Mataji.
That's true. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
If I say Akuti Prabhu or Ananda Prabhu, it doesn't sound proper, is it? In India, Matajis will never be called Prabhu. There's not Vaishnava. There's not Vedic etiquette. Did Krishna call Rukmini Prabhu? Of course, the wife. You know, the women should be addressed as Mataji, except one's wife. Yeah? Yeah. So, ultimately, it is up to the spiritual master to correct the disciple. Because, as we mentioned again, you cannot correct someone if you don't have a relationship. Yeah? Or you are not in a position as an authority. So, India and America is different in this way. This will not click in India. Okay, go ahead. Say it. But it's not like that. Is that Mataji to Mataji calling each other as Prabhu? It doesn't sound good at all, isn't it?
Some people call Didi.
Yeah, that's okay. Didi means auntie. Didi is auntie? Yeah. Sister, or big sister. That's okay. Or actually, the best for the female address as Prabhu is Prabhabhi. Prabhabhi. And because Prabhu is masculine, did we call Nityananda Prabhu, right? Yeah, we don't call, anyway, Hare Krishna. I don't want to, in India you go like this,
Yeah.
right? Yeah?
You have a question?
Okay, he's been waiting for a long time.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Maharaj, it's a serious topic.
Serious? Really? For you it's serious or for us also?
Everyone. I was reminded of this one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. I was reminded of this one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Tatascha Anudinam Dharma Satyam Saucham Shemadaya Kalena Balina Rajan Nanakshati Ayur Balam Smriti. So here Sukadeva Goswami is saying, then O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali.
Okay.
So Kali is becoming very bad day by day.
Really?
So, so what I want to say is we should take advantage of the association of devotees,
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam
Right.
and Bhagavad Gita,
Sure.
and become Krishna conscious and get out of this material world.
Yes. That is serious, isn't it? That's why if you hear the early lectures of Srila Prabhupada in 26th Avenue, he was 70 years old that time, right? And his lectures was like a young man. Is like there's like an urgency. There's an urgency to be Krishna conscious as soon as possible. Because we don't know what's gonna happen to us. Kali Yuga progresses so fast. So fast. The whole world is in chaos. We just don't feel it because we're not there in that. In some places we're very fortunate. We don't live in Gaza Strip,
Okay.
Ukraine. Yeah. Or in war torn areas, Iran. So many places. Mm. So many establishments now are in San Francisco. They're closing because of this tent city, the homeless. They're threatened. So many, so many things going on, Prabhuji. So many things. People are dying because of drugs also coming from China. This fentanyl. This is our synthetic drugs coming from China. They put this in every drugs now, practically available. Everything is rampant.
Food poisoning also.
Huh?
Food poisoning.
Yeah, everything. So how far we can see Kali Yuga? This is within the next 50 years that we are here. If we be able to live for another 50 years, what about 1,000 years from now? That'll be hellish. And Kali Yuga is what? How many more years? 427,000 years? How about, let's say, 500 years from now? Oh, Krishna. That'll be very difficult to imagine, huh? Hard to imagine. So we're very fortunate somehow we have come to Krishna consciousness. So we should not take it for granted. And our children. But Prabhupada says the future of our children, their children's children, they'll be so powerful. They'll be very, very powerful, Krishna conscious. But how is that going to happen will depend on how we play our role, do our role right now as parents. Because Prabhupada predicted that. They'll be very, very powerful. We may not see it like right now, yeah, but that's the way how our movement will grow for the next 10,000 years. 10,000 years? That's hard to imagine again, isn't it? Hare Krishna.
So, we have.
Yes.
We'll take the last question, Maharaj.
No, not question. Actually, I wanted to
Comment?
tell Maharaj that we have three Matajis here who has just started reading Bhagavad Gita, Maharaj.
Yeah.
So if they
Sure.
tell them, how to proceed, continue.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very,
You're right.
steady and very determined to read Bhagavad Gita. They've been doing regularly. And
Would like to thank you from your busy schedule that you have come. We just have to again have that eagerness to learn about Lord Krishna through the Bhagavad Gita and other books, Srimad Bhagavatam and other books. This is a rare opportunity. It's like, what's that? Manushanam sahasresu kaschijati sidaye. That out of many, because many are karmis. Karmis, that means materialist. And being a karmi is not easy also because you have to follow the karma kanda section of the Vedas. And then rare also are the gyanis, rarer than the materialists. Then rarer than the gyanis are the bhaktas. Very, even though in the spiritual world, 90% of the living entities are there, 90%. That means they're majority. And here, we're only 10% of the entire created living entities. But out of those 10%, rarely will be like 1% as devotees. There are more devotees of demigods or Lord Shiva, but very rare are devotees of Lord Krishna or his expansions. Yeah, we were walking this morning, Brajaraj Prabhu, and they're from, it must be from Punjab or something, right? Sardarji. So we told them Namaskaram. That's our first Namaskaram. They said Namaskaram also. So they asked us if we are from this temple, right, Balaji? Because no, we have a temple in ISV. We didn't tell Berkeley. And then yeah, they're very favorable. And in the end, we farewell them by saying Hari Hari, and they said Hari Hari also. So if you want to be noticed immediately, quickly by Lord Krishna, then read his books and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And also, if you can tell others whom you know to join this program. It is free, and only our enthusiasm and our eagerness to have this, that is the price we have to pay. Reading Bhagavad Gita is can be austere. We may not want to, but anyone who will take advantage reading the Bhagavad Gita will definitely get benefited eternally. It's like putting something in your spiritual bank account. It will never go in vain. It'll be eternally credited for you. And yes, continue what you're doing and increase more your participation as much as possible. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we ended up here now?
Yes.
Jai. Oh, you have a question?
she has a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to understand about
Close it.
Is it close?
So you mentioned about the attachment of attachment in terms of attachment in the materialistic world, we should be less attached or detached from
Yeah.
others. Right?
Yeah.
I hear that example, a child chooses us to come.
What?
In general, I heard that child chooses us, and in terms of like when if a baby chooses a mom, and then I don't know how true it is,
The
but
child chooses.
a mom,
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is. In this materialistic world, if there is no attachment, I mean, we should not have any attachments. Do we have attachments in terms of soul in the realistic world?
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. The attachment and affection is two different.
Mhm. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you are detached, but you don't care. Is your child, so you have to care.
Yeah.
But real caring means giving Krishna consciousness, not that fulfilling the desire of the child to be happy materially. That is two different things. As a parent, you have to be sure that the child will not be in trouble or will not get sick. Will, that the child should be nourished. Yeah. So you care for that soul, but that soul doesn't belong to you. That soul belongs to Krishna. Yeah. Somehow or other, due to previous karma, that the child, you gave birth to the child, but you are not the cause for the child to come to your family. It is only through you that the child came. The child has karma from before, and the child took birth in that particular family in order to experience or get the result of his previous karma. Now, you can change his karma if you are able to, which is your duty, to have that child to grow up to become Krishna conscious. You understood?
Yeah, I understood. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you.
Maharaj, there is one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam where it's like you cannot become a guru, you cannot
Yeah,
become
yeah. You cannot be a guru, you cannot be a teacher, you cannot be a parent, you cannot be a king if you cannot release your subjects from the cycle of repeated birth and death. This is the duty of the parents. You try your best. You try your best. That is your duty. Yeah. And again, when they grew up, they may change because they have their own karma also. But if they are obedient to the parents and knowing that my parents will always give me the best of the very best, then I will follow the parents. It doesn't matter what happened.
Like I said, I went through that myself. I had three kids, the born in the movement, they had the Sanskara movement and everything. When they grew up, no, I have a loud voice.
Okay.
And then
The neighbor can hear her.
yeah, neighbor can hear me. Or even if I go to a conference, I don't use my phone. They can hear me from the phone to the back. And when they grew up, even my son told me, Hare Krishna is not my religion, it's your religion. It's very hard for parents.
Painful.
It's very painful. Even my two daughters, I'm, but as a parent, it's your duty. Don't pressure them,
No.
give them the freedom, let them go learn. But you yourself,
Yeah.
you have to be very Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
You chant your round, you follow your principle,
That's right.
do whatever you can do, go ahead, help other devotee, love another devotee, execute your Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
and be a good example. By that, the mind going to be. I went through hell, divorce, kids, losing job, and everything, But I never criticized Krishna or Prabhupada. Oh, I do so much bhakti. Why you put me to that?
Mm.
But you keep going doing your service. As long you do your service, the mind, your kids see how good you. My daughter did that. Mommy, you went through hell. But look at you.
Mm.
I said, because I don't give up my Krishna consciousness. I
Very
know Krishna
good.
watch me.
Very
Krishna
good.
take care of me. And I follow your principles. Like Maharaj said yesterday, don't eat food cooked from karmi. When you eat food from the karmi, your consciousness is going to change. And then you go down. But try to keep up with your sadhana. And slowly you will see your kids. Now I see my kids.
Mm.
Like Kanji came with me to India. My daughter was with me.
Yeah.
Oh, I came back. She's still there. She was roaming. She stayed, just stayed. She was, even she went and to look in her lot to buy a property.
There you
Because
go.
she and her fiance want to settle somewhere.
Very good.
They said, oh, wow.
So Hare Krishna
The
Mataji,
Ganges.
so I think we are almost 1 hour late in the
Yeah.
program because we have to go to Berkeley and Maharaj it's breakfast and he has to finish his lunch.
Yeah,
before he goes
this
to
my
Berkeley.
point is, don't give up your Krishna consciousness.
Probably
They will benefit.
Try and try. Try and try until you succeed. And try and try
Please make it
until we eat our breakfast.
Oh,
because he has to go for lunch and then go for Berkeley also.
yeah, we can eat and talk at the
Yeah,
same
exactly.
time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
You know that now I can see my kids, both of them. One of them is getting married in November, but they're not devoted, but they go to the temple.
First class.
Yeah,
Because of your example.
I don't know. And they're vegetarian. I did not mind when they are not devoted.
Okay.
They're vegetarian.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the wonderful class. And thank you for coming in a row. Maharaj was here last year also, as some of you